The BumbleKast is for entertainment purposes only. The host's comments and opinions, and those of their guests, are wholly their own and do not represent that of any other entity. Content is provided as is, with no guarantees of accuracy or timeliness. Unauthorized redistribution or editing of the BumbleKast in whole or in part is strictly prohibited.
Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
Yo, what's up, dog?
What is up, dog?
I don't know. You tell me.
I'm sorry, I can't make this any more awkward or oblivious. I've wandered to the end of the line. I'm staring blankly at the wall now.
What's up, dog, with you?
Well, all I have on my plate right now is all these questions that come from our patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and for the end of the month, our YouTube members.
Well then, I guess we better get into them. This one is from Knuckles Omega. What do Trip and Big think of Uraraka, Tsuyu, and Nejire?
I imagine they would just get along swimmingly because they're all lovely people.
Pretty straightforward.
I mean, they're all very positive, uplifting young ladies and would be great mentors to Trip in their own unique ways, and Big is a friend to everyone. So,
unless they're mean.
Well, then he's kind enough to put them out of their misery quickly.
Yeah. Boy, that escalated quickly. Luke A has a question. Why do Sonic fans even care about what's canon/official material to begin with, if the entire system that created it only values whoever has more power and not necessarily whoever is the better artist or writer?
I think there's a certain degree of satisfaction with having the right answer.
Oh, yeah.
And for something as long-lived and experimental as Sonic, when discrepancies arise, you have folks who prefer one way over another, or one element over another, one game, one theme, one tone, and they want to just be validated by saying this is the right one. I am vindicated for liking this because it is the correct version. At least that's my armchair psychology on it.
All right. Lula B has a question. In a recent Sonic Twitter takeover, Shadow admitted he knew how to swim. The Sonic channel also posted an image of Maria splashing around with Shadow in one of the white space pools from SXXG. My question is, how did Shadow learn to swim? I think it would be funny to imagine a pool on the Ark with Shadow and Maria and matching floaties taking swimming lessons.
He is the ultimate life form. Maybe it's baked in. Serious answer. There's a lot of species that intrinsically know how to swim at birth, pretty much. It's just built in.
Yeah.
So maybe it goes for Shadow as well?
I mean, he was in a tube. The tube was probably filled with some sort of liquid that he was suspended in. Maybe? So maybe he swam in there?
Big enough for swimming, but...
You know, he learned.
Also, I'm not the ultimate life form. Maybe he can, because he is.
Yes, it's true. Sonic just has one weakness. All right, here's one from M.A. With Mighty and Ray technically not from Archie, are you allowed to use them beyond classic Sonic stories, or is that up to Sega? Great modern designs.
That is up to Sega. Right now, as far as am aware, they are being used exclusively in classic Sonic material.
Right. Magical Fox has a question. The Emeralds give thought power. Is it possible that SS actually didn't have a time limit? They just thought it would, so the Emeralds gave it a limit?
I think that's kind of treading on the line of trying to rationalize a game mechanic.
Yeah.
So that gets thornier the more I think about it. So I'm going to just back away quietly and say, if that's your headcanon, I ain't going to debunk it. You enjoy that one.
Yep. It makes enough sense to me. I wouldn't worry about that one too much. Here's a question from Major Bunny. A detail about Archie Sonic I've always liked is Elias and his relationship with his stepdaughter Alexis, and how that could have been potentially explored. If you were given the chance to write about their dynamic and Alexis's personality as she got older, how would you approach it?
Tricky thing there is, would you be able to, since time couldn't progress? Like, unless the entire Sega cast went through some kind of warp and did another time skip, Alexis would be stuck as a baby because time can't move forward, because Sonic always has to be that age. Everybody has to be their canonical age, and thus it couldn't go anywhere. Definitely have thoughts on where I wanted Alexis to be in a Mobius X years later scenario, but that's all Lost Hedgehog Tales territory, and we'll get to that one day. I promise. I promise it'll happen.
Alrighty. Here's one from Mel. In the Knuckles 30th anniversary comic, were the designs for Gramps and the other Sungazer clan members handed down from Sega, or were the design details hashed out between Ian and the artist before going to Sega for approval?
That was a collaborative effort where I was not directly involved. I turned in the script, but I believe it was Sega and the artist working with their internal directives and just our own reasonable guesses on how to do, and finalizing designs for Gramps and the other villagers.
And here's one from Mephiles #1 fan. Stephen King's It, but Mephiles is Pennywise. Go.
It's the same movie.
I was going to say nothing changes.
All the changes is the visual, and it's just,
it's terrible.
We all float down here.
Does Mephiles still eat kids? I think the answer is yes.
Like maybe the balloon is purple this time, but otherwise it's pretty much 1-to-1.
Yeah. He has no mouth, but he'll figure it out. Oh boy. Pixiger17 has a question. Doting Grandpa Eggman edition this time. Say, quote-unquote, grown-up Sage and Belle make themselves a cute little robot or program child of their own. Sorry, Metal, you get nothing this time. How's Eggman go awesome grandpa mode for either of them? And how much trouble is he in for the Belle one once she gets her kid back, since he obviously would have had to kidnap them for that?
Belle leading the charge to rescue her kidnapped progeny, and Eggman just wanted to lavish the small wee one with like their own personal Eggmobile. Look, Mommy, I have my own tactical nuclear launcher. No, you don't. Oh, what are grandparents for if not to spoil the little ones?
Oh, boy. Danger.
I just wanted to build a bridge between me and my estranged daughter. You bombed the last one. The last one was paving over an entire village. Well, what do you want from me?
You do not do that. All right, here's a question from Noche. Since Silver worries about the future so often, does he take therapy? Maybe even use a stress ball to throw around? I mean, he lives the future.
That brings up an interesting question. Could he squeeze a stress ball with his TK powers to the point where he crushes or pops it? We know he has lifting and throwing capability. Does he have a crushing capability? Can he apply pressure?
I mean, considering the way he throws cars around, I think he could do some serious damage to some sort of squish ball with his TK powers, yeah.
But that's so projecting. That's not a crushing force. That's just gravity doing gravity.
I mean, he did crush a robot in Metal Virus, apparently, so.
Okay. Also, would a stress ball held in TK power offer any kind of therapeutic benefits? Because would he be able to feel it? Is it like an extension of himself, or would it be detached?
You're the Sonic writer. You tell me.
I don't know. I'm just speculating here.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it makes squeaky noises, and that's the satisfying part of it. It's just a noisemaker. I don't know. Why don't you try and write it in somewhere and find out? See what happens. See what they say. All right, normal person has a question. Starline gets sent to the Clone Wars on today's Isekai adventures. Would he fare working with the Separatist leaders Count Dooku and General Grievous, or does he get struck down by one of Anakin's sieges? Anakin sieges.
Why not both?
I was going to say, this sounds like, a both scenario.
I could definitely see Starline throwing his lot in with the Separatists, trying to weasel his way up the chain of command.
Ironic, considering he's a platypus, not a weasel, but sure.
Fine, platypusing his way up the ladder.
Whatever. I don't know, platypuses can climb ladders.
I mean, if it's designed a certain way, I'm sure they could. Anyway, I think he would be absolutely fascinated with lightsaber technology.
Oh, yeah.
Even going over to the Count going, Dookie buddy, I have this idea with this kyber crystal. You're channeling all this energy just to make a singular blade. What if we had a very large crystal? A few even. mounted them into a matrix of some sort, turned it into a devastating kill ray. Now, obviously, the weapons platform to house this would have to be magnificent, like the size of a small moon. Are you following where I'm going with any of this?
Oh, so it's his fault.
No. The mustache is intrinsic to the design.
Oh, okay.
Trust me on this. No, I'm not copying from anybody else's homework. What are you talking about?
Would Starline ever figure out that Palpatine and Sidious are the same?
Never.
Never. No. Of course not. Also calling him Dookie. I am a child, Ian. I am a child.
I have a big fight on Mustafar. Give it up, Anakin. I have the high ground. And then he gets just force tossed into the lava. And these guys
adventures continue. Dookie.
Otherwise, Palpatine fishes out what's left of him. Makes a Darth Starline. I'm sorry, but in the process, you lost your incredible singing voice. No!
Oh. All right, Peacock Queen has a question. I appreciate the little moments where the other civilian anthropomorphic animals would go crazy talking to Sonic because they remind me that he's supposed to be a big celebrity in their world. Considering that, do you think a lot of teenage girls have pictures of him in their rooms or in their lockers? And not just Sonic, maybe Knuckles and Shadow have some fans out there too?
That, I guess, is a possibility. He is supposed to be a world-famous hero. I don't know how well the rest of them are known. Sonic's kind of hard to miss, fighting perfect chaos and all that. But the others, I think they might keep a lower profile. But you might even make an argument of, if somebody's an avid Sonic fan in universe, maybe they do their research. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. All right, Purple Rush has a question. How do you think Sonic would have reacted to first seeing Tails' fear of lightning? Do you think he'd be a bit awkward and not know what to do to help? Or would he know exactly what would help his friend in that moment?
I imagine it would be something akin to what we saw in the OVA, where lightning flashes, Tails reacts, and Sonic's like, huh, so that's a thing now.
Oh, where he just kind of doesn't really do anything?
I mean, the lightning's gone and Tails can calm down.
True.
If this were like a enduring thunder and lightning storm, maybe there would be more time for them to have a interaction, but I don't really see Sonic lingering on the moment if it's that brief.
Mm-hmm. All right, Scurvy Pirate Dog has a question. It's that time of year again, December. So with that in mind, how do you think the yearly battle between Eggman and Santa Claus goes, as Santa has to battle through all the forces of the Eggman Empire in order to give Eggman his yearly piece of coal?
Why do you think he has so many helpers in the shopping malls pretending to be him?
Yeah.
Why do you think he has an entire legion of elves doing all the manufacturing for him? He's spending December 1st to the 24th preparing and fighting his way and carving a corridor through the Eggman Empire. So that first thing, as soon as the clock rolls over, he can storm the gates, throw the coal in there, and then get on with the rest of his job.
Yeah, makes sense. Just has to avoid Robotnik claws on the way.
It's like, here comes Santa Claus, but played to Dual Fates. Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus.
Amazing. Of course,
he gave Death Star trench run with the tiny reindeer.
Santa Claus with a lightsaber, cutting down.
Well, it's candy cane colored, of course.
Oh yeah, cutting down Eggman robots. This crossover is getting weird. Sequoia has a question. Both Dark Beginnings and Shadow Generations reconfirm that Shadow cares about and implicitly trusts Rouge and Omega. Does he consider them to be friends or just allies?
If you ask him, he's just going to say allies.
But we know the truth.
Beyond that, I leave it up to your interpretation.
We know the truth. We know the truth. And the truth is whatever you want. Soulslayer 7 has a question. Despite her popularity, Tikal the Echidna hasn't made very many appearances outside the Adventure series, aside from a few cameos. While Chaos has made full appearances in Sonic Battle, Sonic Generations, and even somewhat in Sonic Forces, do you think we might see Tikal make a full appearance in a Sonic game again, or has she just been reduced to simple cameos in the series?
I don't know, quite honestly. I would like to see more of her personally speaking, but beyond that, I don't know what is in store for her.
Well, I, for one, would like to see more Tikal, so bring her back. Even if she is a Force Ghost, she can be a Force Ghost and still do stuff. It's allowed. And Soccer Cut is here with our last question before we take a break. Knuckles is sending Rouge flowers and orders champagne. In turn, Rouge misses a date by hours, leaving Knuckles in the rain. How does Knuckles react?
Could have sworn I told her to meet me here. Did I get the address wrong? Might as well wait and see.
He's a very patient man. He can wait around for a very, very long time.
I mean, he spends all his day outdoors anyway. What's a little rain to him?
Pretty much. Knuckles will just stand around forever. It's what he does on his island, so, makes sense to me. We ready to take a break?
Let's take a break and we'll be back with more BumbleKast.
We're back and we have a question from Sonic Swordfighter. Megamind, but Mephiles is Megamind, Shadow is Metro Man, and Infinite is Hal/Titan. Go.
This one's a little weird. Not gonna lie.
Mephiles is Megamind. That is weird.
I mean, he's got the theatrics down. There I see it. But there's this kind of lovable goofitude to Megamind, and Mephiles doesn't really have that.
Yeah.
I cannot see Mephiles wanting to protect in any shape or form the well-being of Metrocity.
Oh no.
Even less so Shadow as Metro Man, although the idea of him with like a 5 o'clock shadow and a ukulele is really funny. And Infinite as Titan.
I mean, it fits.
Yeah, I could see. Yeah, all right. The delivery is different, but no. Same energy.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, honestly, if you swapped Shadow and Mephiles, it might make slightly more sense.
No,
even then,
Shadow doesn't have the presentation. He does not have those theatrics.
Even then, him being Megamind is still odd.
I mean, not to play favorites here, but if any of the Sonic villainy was going to be Megamind, it's Starline.
Mm-hmm. Or, Eggman, but...
Yeah. But see, the whole thing is like Megamind's the kind of underdog villain, and Eggman's top tier. He's top billing. He's marquee villain.
Yes, that would make more sense. But, I mean, this is an interesting scenario, but I don't know how it would work.
It would be worth it at the very least just to have Mephiles saying, "Do you know what the difference is between you and I?" Presentation. I mean, it's just a giant head made of his little gremlin baby thingies.
All right, let's move on. We got this question from Speedweed. We've all been awaiting the arrival of Metroid Prime 4 like it's Silk Song up in here. And from one Metroid fan to another, I really want to hear your thoughts on it, especially your hopes, especially given the apparent time being set 2 years after Super.
I did not know that.
Interesting.
So how does that fit in the timeline? So that's before Fusion, yeah?
I think so.
And thus before Dread. So that gets around the question of how do you even follow up on Dread and where she is there by just not doing that.
We can't do timeline questions, Ian. How soon you forget?
I don't care about the Metroid timeline. That's fine. I'm involved with that. I'm really not trying to put my expectations up too high in any direction. The fact that they are bringing back Sylux and using him in any capacity is enough for me. It's like, okay, what are you doing with it? What is this going to do? Mostly, I just want the return of the feeling of the original Metroid Prime. I mean, 2 and 3 are fine, but just that sense of exploration, like going around, what was it, Talon 4?
Yeah, I think so.
Just felt so organic. It felt like you really were carving your own way through an alien world. 2 and 3 to me felt much more level based, more by design.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that's also with them being sequels and having gotten used to the Metroid Prime formula. Going back, if I had played like 3 first and gone back to the original, maybe my mentality would be different. But the original Metroid Prime just was lightning in a bottle. It did so much right. And I just kind of want that feeling again in 4. If it's just a nice sci-fi adventure with lots of shoot bang and an appropriate level of horror, which, for me, that's a very low threshold, then we're good. I'm fine. I would, if they're putting it 2 years after Super, and again, I could be wrong, but that makes it an in-betweequel preceding Fusion and Dread. That runs the risk of cramming too much lore in between titles, but I don't know. It's up to them. We'll see how it do. I will get it at launch if I can, provided I have time to actually play something, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Spoiler 1001 has a question. How would Sonic rate the acupuncture in Soliana?
Brief enough, it's to the point.
Oh, it's pointy. Very pointy.
Comes away an actual needle mouse.
Steph Cube has a question. I saw a discussion the other day where one person was saying that if you don't like the fact that Amy has a crush on Sonic, that means you don't like the character at all, because that crush is an essential part of her character. And that the other person was saying that you can enjoy other aspects of her even if you don't like her crush on Sonic. I personally never liked Amy that much, to be honest with you, but I also think the second argument is correct and that no character should be reduced to just a crush on someone else. But I want to know your opinions on this. Do you think that if you don't like Amy's crush on Sonic, then you can't like Amy at all?
Personally speaking, I feel like enjoying any character for a singular element is reductive and limiting and is going to deny you entertainment and joy from whatever it is you're consuming. With Amy specifically, her feelings for Sonic are an intrinsic part of her character, and they are still there, despite some comments to the contrary. But they are not her single defining trait. So how you enjoy media is up to you. I'm not going to gatekeep and say, you like this aspect of a character, therefore that is wrong and you can't enjoy it that way. No, that's the wrong way to go about it. But to go the other way around and say that other people are not enjoying the character properly is also wrong. What you take from media and what you enjoy about it is entirely up to you. I just feel like that if you are limiting to yourself to a singular aspect of the character or basing it entirely on others' perceptions of it, you're going to give yourself a bad time.
If anyone says you're doing it wrong, ignore them. Easy. Superior Pizza has a question. Hey, Ian and Kyle, in a recent BumbleKast, Ian answered a question in regards to a Mario and Sonic crossover. Ian, do you really think Sonic could annoy Mario? I know you said he's been shown to have a bit of a temper, but seriously? The man can tolerate rabbids. If anything, Sonic would lose his marbles trying to get under his skin. Like, how can Sonic top the rabbids in the art of being annoying?
I said I think it would be entertaining if they went that route.
I mean, sometimes you can tolerate something like general goofiness, but when someone's trying to deliberately get under your skin, that's different.
I mean, honestly, it would come down to the project. Like and with the Mario and Sonic and Olympic Games, the whole theme was healthy competition, friendly competition. So there was no real animosity there. And I haven't done any of the Mario or Rabbids games because of the rabbits, but I would imagine that they want them to be cooperative characters, so they're going to write them in a way that they can easily cooperate.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it would be entertaining to have Sonic and Mario just at odds as a loving nod to the old console wars and play with that. I have everybody else be super cool with everybody else and just a grand old time. It's just the two of them don't mesh. Respect, sure, but just they don't mesh. And I would personally find that more entertaining than just the two of them being, yeah, we're cool with each other and going on adventures. Wahoo, do it to it. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, Ian Flynn making references again.
Give me a little bit of spice, please. For the two oldest rivals in the bloody entertainment industry.
Yeah. All right, System 509 has a question. Since Ranma 1/2 is getting a remake, let's have some fun and throw some Sonic characters into those cursed springs. Sonic goes into the spring of a drowned girl, Amy ends up in the spring of a drowned cat, and Sonic goes into the spring of a drowned piglet. How do these three handle life with these new curses? If you don't know how it works, basically they turn into these specific things when splashed with cold water, and turn back to normal when splashed with warm water.
So Sonic, I would imagine, is just cool with it. And
he just doesn't
magically gains clothes, because why not?
Sure.
Amy, I guess she's just turning into Blaze at this point. Blaze the hammer.
Okay.
And Blaze is very confused how she got there. She was like a world away before, and now she's standing here and also soaking wet. What happened? And then gets doused with water again, and boom, now it's Amy. And what is going on?
Boy, that's weird.
As for Shadow, I just imagine the angriest little black and red picky.
Yes.
Same attitude, same power set, same everything. It's just he's a little black and red picky.
Yes. Okay.
Making little picky noises, little oink oinks.
Oink me up.
And you point and laugh at the tiny, 12-inch tall piglet, and then he puts you through a wall.
Picky riding a motorcycle with a gun.
How would he even reach the handlebars?
Don't ask questions. Just enjoy.
He's just sitting on the seat, cross-armed as it drives itself somehow. Perfectly balanced.
Give little pig doom wings. Oh no. Good old doom pig. Oh boy. All right, question from Switchel. You constantly get asked about potential Sonic storybook stories, but what storybooks would you guys want to see adapted and why?
I don't know. I feel like we've hit all the major contenders over the years.
I mean, Wizard of Oz is a really good one.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun with Wizard of Oz.
And you could probably get a decent amount of mileage out of a collection of the Grimm's fairy tales if you treat it all as one big adventure.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. We've definitely talked about a lot of public domain stuff and non-public domain stuff, like Lord of the Rings recently. Journey to the West would be interesting, even though we both are really not super familiar with the original. But yeah, I think some of those would be interesting. Definitely, I would like to see Wizard of Oz, personally. Just all right, the Aussie Blue has a question. Have you ever played any of Failbetter's Fallen London series, including games such as Sunless Seas? Do you have any fond experiences to share? Any opinions?
I have never heard of this.
I am sorry. I do not know what this is personally either.
I am so sorry, but it's absolute blank.
Free-to-play text-based browser game. Okay, interesting. From 2009. I've never heard of this until now. Interesting. All right, here's one from the Oddly Roger. Do you have any zany story ideas or concepts involving dinosaurs that you're willing or able to share?
Oh, my. There is one that I'm very, very, very slowly workshopping along with 500 other things.
Of course.
I have no mental discipline. That more or less amounts to taking this old concept I had when I was 8 and updating it and polishing it off polishing it up. Wrong expression. With 4 brothers who are sent out to hone their individual unique skills to overthrow the tyrannical theropod ruled Mad Maxian city and go really surrealist with the dino design and the technology. And it would be a little bit of steampunk, a little bit of Avatar, airbending Avatar.
Are the brothers
Avatar
also dinosaurs?
Yes.
Okay.
Everyone is dinosaurs in this.
Okay. So it's dino
or
TMNT
inspired.
TMNT dinos.
More or less, yeah. But with a little bit of mysticism and a little steampunk in there. And
nice. Okay.
I have the threadbare plot line in mind, the general themes, but I don't know. Maybe I'll actually sit down and put together a cohesive working document and update my Patreon for the first time in 6 months.
What are the dinosaur brothers? Do they have a species
They would all be Parasaur. I can never say the actual species name correctly. Parasaurolophuses. The hadrosaurs with a long tube coming out of the back of their heads.
Interesting. All right, the Cyberspace Coco has a question. Let's say Froggy somehow absorbed the Yellow Chaos Emerald during Adventure 1 and became a living Chaos Emerald himself. Now imagine the Sonic story, but with Froggy taking the place of the Yellow Emerald. Tails trying to trick Eggman with a fake Froggy. Froggy hovering over Black Doom, Mephiles holding Froggy before he fights Shadow, Shadow using Froggy to chaos control in Shadow Generations. What would Big do in all these situations now that his little buddy is a main plot MacGuffin?
You took all the good answers.
I mean,
I want to riff on that. I don't talk about Big. Dang it. Cyberspace Coco having all the fun.
I know, he's not leaving you with anything, man.
It all starts with this. A frog containing the ultimate power. I don't know. At that point, either A, Big just gets a new frog, or B, he's just perpetually in the background trying to chase him down.
Imagine also if you replace the Phantom Ruby with Froggy.
How did you know it was a fake Froggy? Because you told me, Fox Boy. And Big's just outside the door. Froggy! Let me in. I'll help you, buddy.
Good.
Jams him into the end of the Eclipse cannon to blow it up. And Big's just leaping out into space. No! Froggy! Every single rival fight in Sonic Generations is just Big, trying to stop you from taking Froggy.
Good.
You have this like perpetual looming threat of Big chasing you across the islands and frontiers. If he catches you, he's taking that Froggy away, and you can't do the Titan fight.
Oh no! Oh, I hope Starline doesn't find the warp Froggy.
It's the weirdest looking thing on the back of his hand.
Yes. All right, question from This Is Bird. Greetings. Do you think Metal Sonic would prefer to be his Neo/Dragon forms, or were those a means to an end for defeating Sonic?
Going by the context of his dialogue, to me, it seems like it's implied the dragon form was the end goal, that this was his ultimate final form and thus perfection. But I don't know. I feel like that's worth revisiting and reinvestigating, maybe.
Interesting. Twilord asks, hey there, Ian. Can you please say Hydrock Itty Zone?
Why do I feel I'm walking into a trap, Kyle?
I don't know.
But it's Twilord. He knows better, so...
No, he doesn't. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't do it, Ian. I already said it. Could be worse. It could be Hydro Skibidi Zone.
God. Guttural. Just natural reaction to that is to bare my teeth and recoil.
Oh, come on.
Okay. Hydrock Itty Zone.
Oh, no.
We'll see what happens with that.
That's going to get out of there. I guess as long as it's not Ohio City Zone. Virgil Angelo has a question. Often when I see Next Generation sequels or epilogues, I see miniature clones of their parents with many of the same traits, never feeling like they can be their own person. Think Marcus McCloud from Star Fox Command. What are your favorite or least favorite children of established characters?
All right, now with Marcus, I feel like you could do some really interesting stuff there. You know, third generation McCloud born into yet another system-wide war, potentially with some of Crystal's psychic powers, maybe? You know, what does he do? How does he view the mantle of the Star Fox team? How does he see himself on the stage and carrying so much baggage with his name? I would love to just go to town on that generation of Star Fox. So Marcus, I'm not going to pass judgment on because we get so very little of him. And at least he's a different color. You know, he's not orange again.
It's a palette swap.
He has that much going for him. really, it's just I want to see his interactions with the old man Falco. God, I want that so bad. Anyway, but yeah, no, I'm totally there with you. With here's just the mini-me clone. I'm thinking specifically into Dragon Ball Z with Goku and Vegeta Jr. It's like, how creatively bankrupt can you be?
Yeah.
And I feel like I've heard folks complain about Boruto the same way. I never got into Naruto, and I certainly didn't follow with Boruto, but I hear, or at least the implication I've gotten is that it suffers from that. Like, here's the same thing again, just with slightly different names and designs. So that's disappointing. If you are going to do the next generation, there's certainly, you definitely want to have some kind of link back to the preceding generation, because if you followed the series up to that point, you want to know where it's going from there. You want to pick up that thread, but it needs to be their own character. You know, they need to show their lineage, but they need to pick up the torch and go in a new direction, have their own adventure, not let it be wholly defined by what came before. A good example of that, I think, might be Batman Beyond.
Yes, there we go. Yeah.
Like, Terry was a very different Batman, both stylistically and character-wise, and I'm really not a fan of the reveal that he's technically Bruce's kid. I find that unnecessary. I feel like that diminishes the character to a degree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that was like one episode way after the main series had wrapped up. Terry by himself, I think, is great, having picked up and moved on like that.
Yeah. All right, Vineclad has a question. In JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, stands are the literal personification of the character's fighting spirit. And I'm curious, what do you imagine the stands for the Sonic characters would be? For this prompt, we're going to need 3 things: their name, appearance, and ability. Stand names are usually based off a song, album, or band. Stand appearances range from humanoid-like to literal objects. There's no limitation. Stand abilities are whatever you think fits the character in question.
Oh, there's no wrong answer to this. You can have fun. Like, for Sonic, I'm spoiled for choice. Like, would his stand be like the werehog, or like his super form, maybe in a grander JoJo style? Would you want to pull that weird Batman humanoid Sonic out of Sonic CD? That's a stand, maybe. And I would imagine all of these have to be pulls from their personal themes. I mean, come on.
Maybe, although it would be funny to have like Amy. Amy's stand is called Guns N' Roses.
Nah.
I mean, she does not known for guns, but still.
Maybe Tails could be some kind of fighting mecha version of the Cyclone, or an amalgamation of various things. So it's one part Cyclone, one part Tornado, one part that Robo Dog out of Tails Adventure.
Maybe Sonic's stand is Sonic Man.
Or would Sonic Man's stand be Sonic?
Oh.
And if we're going to pull from deep canon, would Blaze's stand be just Iblis?
I mean, technically, I suppose.
Or would it be funnier that, you build a whole story around Elise seeming like someone who's a non-combatant, and then she gets into the fray and she's like, I didn't want to do this, but boo-hoo.
Yeah, maybe. Something like that.
Might be fun to play against type, and, you would think Shadow would get some kind of big, black, doomy, creepy alien, something, whatever. But instead, he, summons up a guardian angel of Maria that's purely defensive based, non-combative at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's pretty cool. I think there's plenty of opportunities for this.
Oh, you can go wild with this. I'm just scratching the surface.
Yeah. I think this is a good opportunity for people to leave their ideas down in the comments below. Our last question is from Walter. Vanilla goes shopping and leaves Cream and the 2 chows at home. After a while, she returns because she forgot something and decides to quickly check on her daughter. She opens the door to Cream's room only to see her holding a lit cigarette. She's holding an engraved lighter and Chocola, a half-empty bag of Marlboros. What happens next? Also, the chows are oblivious to the situation and they offer Vanilla a cig like it's candy. Also, Gemroll is busy with something during the incident.
Number 1, the plural for chow is chow, not chows.
Well, I mean, that's what was written, so that's what I read.
I know, but I'm using this as a teaching moment.
Okay. Yeah, because it said it's chows, so it's like chaos. So it's like it took me a second. I almost stumbled over it. Like, wait a minute. Oh, chows. Chow or chow?
One chow, two chow, red chow, blue chow. Number 2, one way you could take this is as a very wholesome moment where Vanilla calmly explains that this is a recreation for adults and one that is relatively unhealthy. Cream should not engage with this. If it is her decision to do it when she is an older adult, that's fine. But for right now, she needs to take care of herself and her health and hand those over, please. Option number 3, or number 3, option B, whatever. Comedy answer is you have Surge hiding in the closet going, no, don't you rat me out, kid. Don't you rat me out, kid.
And Sonic comes in and says, that's no good.
And then catches sight of Surge over on the other side of the room. She's like, no. He's like, big smile. No. Hey, Surge, what you doing over there? And that's when we see what Vanilla's stand is.
Oh. Uh-oh.
You've heard about rabbits in the moon, haven't you? It's the end.
Oh, boy. Only dumb bots smoke, according to Sonic. God, he hasn't called anything that in a long time.
And that's okay.
What? Even you have a limit? I'm surprised.
Even I have my limits.
I am shocked. We'll call them dumb bots? Aww. Oh, well.
I'll use it at some point, or I already have. And
I don't think
the
you
comments
have.
will light up. Hypocrite!
Well,
like,
maybe you did it like the RG days or something. I don't remember, but
well, then that's just a loving callback.
Yes. Yeah, pretty much.
Speaking of loving callbacks, thank you so much to all our patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and for the last of the month, our YouTube members. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, happy holidays, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
I can't believe you, of all people, wouldn't reintegrate the word dumb bots into Sonic's vocabulary. Vocabulary. What the hell is that?
Vernacular?
Vocabulary. Bring back dumb bots. Yep.
24 in 3, 2,
Hold on.
1.
Restart.
No. Restarting.
Sorry, I hadn't actually hit the record button yet. You jumped ahead.
Like you said the thing.
I wasn't ready.
Floor it.
Okay, floor it. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org.
I'm just imagining a little Darth Vader Starline coming down the iconic hallway, but he only comes up to like the stormtroopers' knees.
He cuts their ankles right off.
That or he's on like Darth Vader tall legs, but it's disproportionate to the rest of him.
He trips over the cape. Falls over.
It's like Pinky in the Brain, where Brain gets in the gigantic mechanical human form, but there's the itty bitty head coming out the top.
Yeah, pretty much. Good stuff.
Although I could see a lot of Vader lines coming from him just with a little more smarm.
Yeah.
I've altered the deal. Pray I don't alter it further.
It's hard to take him seriously, though.